My wife demanded I treat all other women like invisible ghosts, so I made her family disappear. I'd been married to Sailor for 3 years when she completely lost her mind over a female barista who smiled while handing me coffee. From now on, you are forbidden from speaking to, looking at, or even acknowledging that any woman exists besides me, she screamed, waving her phone with a divorce lawyer's website already pulled up. You will treat other women like they're invisible ghosts who don't exist in your world. I stared at her pacing around our living room. The barista literally just handed me coffee, and you smiled back like some pathetic creep. She held the phone up higher, making sure I could see the lawyer's contact information. Either you agree to this right now, or we're done. You want me to pretend half the population doesn't exist? Not pretend, actually live like they don't exist. Turn your back if they even approach you. I looked at my wife standing there with her insane ultimatum. Fine, you want me to act like other women are invisible ghosts? Then that's exactly what I'll do. The very next morning, Sailor's mother called and I immediately blocked her number. When she showed up at our door crying because Sailor's sister had been in a car accident and was asking for Sailor at the hospital, I looked straight through her like she was made of air and slowly closed the door in her face while she was mid-sentence. August, what are you doing? Sailor asked, coming down the stairs just as her mother started pounding on the door and sobbing hysterically. Following your rules about women being invisible ghosts, I said, turning up the TV volume to drown out her mother's crying. That's my mother. She's a woman. And you said all women except you don't exist in my world anymore. When her sister Sasha got discharged from the hospital and needed someone to pick her up because Sailor was stuck at work, I just came home empty-handed. She waited 3 hours, Sailor screamed. I'm sorry, I couldn't see her. That night when Sailor's female best friend showed up with mascara running down her face because she'd caught her husband cheating and needed her support, I refused to open the door. Sailor was in the shower and couldn't hear her ringing the doorbell over and over. She was having a mental breakdown, Sailor screamed when she found out. You just left her crying alone outside. You said women are invisible ghosts to me, so I couldn't see or hear her. I meant other women, not my friends and family. You said all women except you, and I'm respecting our marriage exactly like you demanded. Her face turned red, but she couldn't argue with her own words. By the second week, Sailor was desperately trying to create exceptions to her own rules. When we went grocery shopping, I walked away from every female cashier mid-transaction, forcing Sailor to run over and finish paying while the entire line stared at us like we were insane. At restaurants, I would get up and leave the table if a waitress approached, making Sailor order for both of us while other diners whispered and pointed. You need to stop this nonsense, Sailor shouted after I refused to attend her cousin's wedding because too many women would be there. My entire family thinks you're having a mental breakdown. I told her that I was just trying to be a good husband and follow her rules. I said I didn't want her to divorce me. She gritted her teeth and left the room. Then her sister's birthday dinner was approaching, and I told Sailor I'd be staying home since her sister obviously didn't exist in my world anymore. Can you please just go? She's been crying because she thinks her brother-in-law suddenly hates her. It got worse when Sailor's female boss called our home during dinner about an urgent project deadline. I immediately hung up before handing her the phone. Sailor's boss was furious about the disrespect. Stop it! You could have got me fired! She screamed. You said treating women like they exist would mean I don't love you enough. She stood there shaking with rage. Sailor completely broke down when her mother called sobbing because I'd refused to let her in the house for the 5th time that week. Stop this right now! She screamed, throwing her phone across the room. I take it all back, okay? Just go back to being normal again. I smiled. Honestly, I like this new arrangement. It's nice not having to constantly prove I'm not attracted to every woman who exists. I stepped around her while she stood there speechless, finally understanding what she'd actually asked for.